One of the banks is predicting housing will crash. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your coat because it's bloody cold in Queensland and your stein of coffee. I want to have a look at this article discussing one of the banks predicting housing will crash. Yet again. Now remember, we've heard these all before, so let's just, be a little bit skeptical if we start seeing more and more of these articles, warnings of crashes, or it could be a prelude to intervention or calls for intervention from the government to support that sector. Or maybe I'm just getting much too cynical, guys. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments. Am I getting too old and cynical? So, house prices to drop by 15% in Australia, according to the CBA. Okay, so if they drop by 15%, let's have a look at asking prices. Right now, we'll jump to, we'll go to Melbourne. We'll go to Melbourne. And I'm just going to full screen. I'll look up here because this is where I can see it. Okay, so we'll do three betters, 1 million with change, and say, we'll go 200 grand. I know it's a little more, but it'll work out. So let's see how long back in time to get to 800,000. Come on. So we're sitting at about 2016. If we take a 200 grand hit there, if we go down to 900 grand, we're about 2017. So that is, a significant amount of time that you've lost growth potential there. But look how much it's grown just recently. Same thing in Sydney, guys. Okay, if we, right now, what are we sitting at? 1.5. If we go 150 grand, which is, 275 or 225, we go down. There you go. 2021, guys. And then good old Brisbane. Well, Brisbane, we've just gone red hot. Our market is just going crazy. So there you go. Look, three betters are starting to average. They're starting to flatten out. But, yeah, if we go down 20%, we're barely in last year, guys. 15%. So here's the thing. When they talk about a percentage fall, we need to think about how many years of growth you've lost. Now, for people who have bought homes and they're going to be in negative equity, the question is, will the banks pressure them to put more money in? Or will the banks just let it all keep running? Or will the banks force them to sell? That's the scenario that we're going to see playing out there. Most people, I think, will be okay, but it'll manifest in retail discretionary spending. You're going to start tightening your belt, and that will flow through to other parts of the economy, and it's probably going to affect, those in the lowest socioeconomic band, lower skilled jobs, retail workers, that type of thing, people younger who are just starting up their careers, probably who are renting. So their rents are going to go up as well because we've got a rental crisis. Interest rates are going to go up, forcing investors to lift up their rents. So it's all going to snowball. So it's not going to be an easy few years, everyone. It's going to be a tough few years. We'll have to see how high interest rates go until they start to bring them back down. I was talking to John Adams this morning. He thinks the rates will shoot up and then they'll come right back down. How much damage will they do? Will the Reserve Bank do? I think that's what he was saying. Oh, there you go, guys. What do you reckon? I'm still surprised at how many people are shocked at what's happening. At rates are going up. I know it's been a long time since rates have gone up, but some people are saying they've got friends who don't even watch the news, and that could be why they're not aware of it. Maybe, I guess. I'm a bit of a news nerd, so I guess there's no surprising. So let's have a look at this. A major bank has warned that supersized interest rates will have a chilling impact on house prices as potential buyers run scared. I don't know if they're going to run scared. I imagine their purchasing power is going to decrease. That's the one thing that's definitely going to happen. House prices are set to plunge by 18% in the next 2 years in Sydney and Melbourne. One of the major banks has warned. And across Australia, house prices will drop by 15% over the next 18 months. So those of us that have bought a few years ago, it's not going to, unless you're using that equity to leveraging it for other investments, doesn't matter if your property loses value. It's not real money unless you're drawing upon it. Then if you're drawing upon it, you should have the capability to deal with the situation. Should have. So, that's according to Commonwealth Bank economists, who have cautioned that the supersized rate hike of 0.5% on Tuesday, the biggest in 22 years, will have a chilling impact on Australia's property prices, alongside expectations of a more aggressive cycle of rate rises in coming months. Head of Australian Economics at CBA, Gareth Arad, predicted an 11% fall in Sydney house prices this year, followed by a further 7% drop next year. Melbourne would experience a 10% fall, and for the rest of the year, another 8% decline in 2023, the CBA said. We're going to have a recession next year. We'll have to have another recession, guys. Definitely. What's this, your current interest rate? No one has a current interest rate of 0.35. Hobart's hot property market was also expected to take a hit, with a drop of 4% in house prices this year and 9% next year, with Canberra also expected to be impacted by the same decrease, or same declines. In Darwin, house prices are expected to drop by 1% this year, followed by 9% next year. What about us in Brisbane? Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth were lucky to buck the national trend this year and would see house prices increase before dropping between 8 and 11% in 2023. So, there you go. I mean, we saw the insane growth we've had here in Brisbane. What happens is it cools in Melbourne and Sydney, and then people start shopping around in other cities, and Brisbane is one of them. But it's just gone nuts. It has just gone really hot, the market. In March, CBA predicted just a 3% drop in house prices for 2022, showing a dramatic change to their forecasts. House prices will move lower from here, given the RBA is expected to tighten policy via rate hikes quickly, Mr. Arad said. The extent to which prices contract will depend in large part on the speed and magnitude at which the RBA lifts the cash rate. The last downturn in Australian house prices was between mid-2017 and mid-2019, with a slide of almost 10% nationally, with Sydney hit by a 15% fall and Melbourne hit by an 11%. However, Mr. Arad doesn't believe the housing market will crash, as the low jobless rate means households will continue to pay off mortgages, but higher rates come at the expense of less discretionary spending. Yeah, that's where it'll manifest. And then, if we have less discretionary spending, is the jobless rate going to stay that low? And remember, don't forget about inflation. But we've also got a construction sector in the middle of a construction apocalypse, with builders going under left, right, and center, supply costs through the roof. That I don't think that's going to end for another 12 months. So, you're going to have pressure on housing down here, but supply isn't going to be meeting. Yeah. Add to that the call for more immigration here into Australia. What do you reckon, guys? Where would you bet the carton on where it's headed? That's the question. CBA has predicted official interest rates will rise as high as 2.1% by the end of the year, while financial markets have pegged an even bigger jump to 3%. But UBS economist George Thurno warned a jump to 3% isn't likely, as it would crash housing and drive a recession. Well, this wouldn't be the first time the RBA has done something stupid. I mean, they'll drive us into a recession before they really start lowering rates. What do you think? That's the question. Will we be in recession before the RBA lowers rates, or will they follow the hedonic index? Yet in good news for homeowners, the CBA has predicted interest rates will need to be cut again in the second half of 2023 due to a slowdown in economic activity of 2.1% compared to the expected growth of 3.5% this year. Fear over plunging house prices will mean the property market does suffer in the short term, as the fear of missing out that drove the frenzy in the past year dries out, according to Dr. Andrew Wilson, consultant economist at Bluestone Home Loans. In the short term, however, housing markets will again be confronted by the fear factor, with the unusual predictions from the usual suspects of house price crashes and an uncertain outlook on rates and the economy, motivating buyers and sellers to sit on their hands, he said. The usual quieter winter selling season will be exacerbated this year by falling confidence and the fear factor resulting in likely continued downward pressure on home prices, with non-discretionary sellers just having to accept what the market offers. But overall, demand for housing will still remain strong as supply is still lower in most capitals, Dr. Wilson said. With borders now open, migrants and international student numbers will surge. Significant numbers of first-home buyers are set to take advantage of recently announced government support policies, and high levels of investors will continue to be attracted to rental markets with record low vacancy rates and skyrocketing rents. And with recent underbuilding, particularly apartments, set to continue, the prospect remains of demand well below supply. So there we go, everyone. Actually, I'm recording this video while I'm crypto mining on my computer. I've turned everything on in here, all the rigs on to mine Ethereum to warm up my office. That's how cold it is. Let's have a talk about this. What do you reckon, everyone? Should we be worried about a potential 15% fall? For those of us that have gotten in the market a few years ago, it's not going to make any difference. It's just going to change the equity number that you've got there. For those that are leveraged against it, it might have an impact, but you're running pretty bloody close to the edge if 15% is going to cause you a lot of trouble. For people who have bought in at the peak, they may have to ride out a period at negative equity. That could be very stressful, and hopefully attention isn't drawn to them, or they don't try to move to another bank. They may not be able to. They may be shocked. Are we going to see articles about people who are shocked when their fixed period disappears and the rates go up? Will we see that? We won't, will we? Anyway, we'll have to see, guys. The predictions are all coming in more and more. Now, what government intervention will the Labor government do here to keep it all going? Will they support a decline in the housing market? That's one way to make housing more affordable. We'll have to see. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can financially support the channel via joining on YouTube or Patreon, using any of our referral links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband, or contacting us if you need any architectural support. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And hopefully it's warmer where you are than in Brisbane. It's getting frustratingly cold here. And we've finally had a break in the rain and works. I finished a big job, so now I've got time to start pumping out the holes on the house again. We're getting there. See you next time.